Start with is Jack and the Beanstalk. Remember Jack and the Beanstalk?
I want to be close to the because I can see it really good.
Once upon a time there was a little boy who lived with his mommy, and they were quite poor, and all they had was an old cow. His mama told him to take the cow to market and sell it to get some money so they could have something to eat. So little Jack took the cow, and on the way to the market he met this man. The man said to him, I have these magic beans, and I'll give you the magic beans for this cow. So Jack thought that was a pretty good deal, so he gave the cow to the man. He went home with the magic beans. He gave them to his mama, and she got kind of angry because she lost the cow, and all he got was magic beans. So he threw the beans out the window and sent Jack to bed. The next morning when Jack woke up, out the window he saw this great, huge beanstalk that had grown from the magic beans. That went clear up to the sky and through the clouds. So Jack jumped up and got on his clothes and started climbing up the beanstalk. He climbed and he climbed, got up through the clouds, and when he looked out there was a big castle. So he went up to the castle and knocked on the door. The lady came to the door and said, what are you doing here? He said, I'm hungry, I need something to eat. She says, you better get away, the giant lives here. He doesn't like little children. So while he was getting something to eat, she heard this thump, 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 thump. She says, the giant's coming, you better run and hide. So he went to hide. The giant opened the door and he said, 3, 5, 4, fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman. Be him alive or be him dead. I'll crush his bones to make my bread. The lady says, oh no, that's just the dog that brought in some meat. So the giant sat down for his dinner. After his dinner, he said to the lady, bring me my money. I want to count my money. So she brought these big bags of gold money. The giant sat there and counted his money and counted it and counted it. Pretty soon he got tired and fell asleep. Jack jumped out of his hiding place, grabbed the money bags, run out of the castle and down the beanstalk. Well, the next morning, Jack decided to go up the beanstalk again. So he climbed up the beanstalk and went to the castle door and knocked on the door. The lady says, oh, you better get away, the giant's coming. And he says, I need something to eat. So she was feeding him. What do you think he heard? Thump, 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 thump. And the giant was at the door. He opened the door and he said, 3, 5, 4, thump. I smell the blood of an Englishman. Be him alive or be him dead. Oh, crush his bones to make my bread. And the lady said, oh, that's just something that you can smell from having for dinner. So after he had his big, huge dinner, he brought out this magic chicken. And the chicken laid golden eggs. So the giant said to it, lay me a golden egg. The chicken had laid this big, beautiful golden egg. It laid a few golden eggs, and pretty soon the giant got tired of that and he fell fast asleep. So Jack jumped out of his hiding place, went over and grabbed the magic chicken, and down the beanstalk he ran. Well, the next morning he decided to go up one more time. This time when he got to the castle, he heard the footsteps again. Thump, 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 thump. And the giant was at the door. What did he say? 3, 5, 4, thump. I smell the blood of an Englishman. Be him alive or be him dead. I'll crush his bones to make my bread. Well, after the giant had his dinner and Jack was hiding, he brought out this magic harp. And the magic harp played the most beautiful music, and it put the giant fast asleep. So Jack jumped out of his hiding place and grabbed the harp. And just as he was ready to run out of the castle, the harp started crying, "Giant, giant, somebody's stealing me." So Jack ran out of the castle and down the beanstalk, and here come the giant after him. Well, Jack didn't know what to do. So he grabbed the axe and he started chopping. He chopped, 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 and here come the giant down the beanstalk, closer and closer, closer, and pretty soon Jack dropped off the beanstalk, and the giant fell down and killed himself. And Jack and his mama lived happily ever after. And that's the story of Jack and the Beanstalk. Okay, what we do next? The old lady that went to buy a pig?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, when I was in the 3rd or 4th grade, I think it was the 4th grade, we had a class and you had to recite a story in the class. And this is the story that I recited. And it's a story about the old lady that went to market to buy a pig. On the way home, the pig wouldn't jump over the sty. And so the old lady couldn't get home that night. You know what the sty is?
No.
The sty is like stairs up over the fence and down the other side. So you walk up one side and down the other side. And that's the sty, so you can get over the fence. Anyway, the pig wouldn't jump over the sty, so the old lady couldn't get home that night. So she went down the road a little ways and she met a dog. She says, "Dog, dog, bite the pig. The pig won't jump over the sty, and I can't get home tonight." But the dog wouldn't. So she went a little further and she met a stick. She says, "Stick, stick, beat the dog. Dog won't bite the pig. Pig won't jump over the sty, and I can't get home tonight." But the stick wouldn't. So she went a little further and she met a fire. She says, "Fire, fire, burn the stick. Stick won't beat the dog. Dog won't bite the pig. Pig won't jump over the sty, and I can't get home tonight." But the fire wouldn't. So she went a little further and she met some water. And she says, "Water, water, quench the fire. Fire won't burn the stick. Stick won't beat the dog. Dog won't bite the pig. Pig won't jump over the sty, and I can't get home tonight." But the water wouldn't. So she went a little further and she met an ox. She says, "Ox, ox, drink the water. Water won't quench the fire. Fire won't burn the stick. Stick won't beat the dog. Dog won't bite the pig. Pig won't jump over the sty, and I can't get home tonight." But the ox wouldn't. So she went a little further. What did she meet? A butcher.
Oh yeah.
She says, "Butcher, butcher, kill the ox. The ox won't drink the water. Water won't quench the fire. Fire won't burn the stick. Stick won't beat the dog. Stick won't beat the dog. Dog won't bite the pig. Pig won't jump over the sty, and I can't get home tonight." But the ox wouldn't. The butcher wouldn't. So she went a little further and she met a rope. She says, "Rope, rope, hang the butcher. Butcher won't kill the ox. The ox won't drink the water. Water won't quench the fire. Fire won't burn the stick. Stick won't beat the dog. Dog won't bite the pig. And pig won't jump over the sty. So I can't get home tonight." But the rope wouldn't. So she went a little further and she met a rat. And she says, "Rat, rat, gnaw the rope. The rope won't hang the butcher. Butcher won't kill the ox. Ox won't drink the water. Water won't quench the fire. Fire won't burn the stick. Stick won't beat the dog. Dog won't bite the pig.
And I
The
can't
pig
get
won't
home.
jump over the sty. I can't get home." But the rat wouldn't. So she met a cat. She says, "Cat, cat, eat the rat. Rat won't gnaw the rope. Rope won't hang the butcher. Butcher won't kill the ox. The ox won't drink the water. Water won't quench the fire. Fire won't burn the stick. Stick won't beat the dog. The dog won't bite the pig. The pig won't jump over the sty, and I can't get home tonight." Well, the cat said, "If you'll get me some milk from that cow, I'll eat the rat." So she went over to the cow and asked for a pitcher of milk, and the cow said, "You give me some hay and I'll give you some milk." So she got some hay for the cow, and the cow gave her this nice big pitcher of warm milk. She took it over to the cat, and the cat lapped up the milk. And then the cat began to eat the rat. The rat began to gnaw the rope. The rope began to hang the butcher, and the butcher began to kill the ox. The ox began to drink the water. The water began to quench the fire, and the fire began to burn the stick. And the stick began to beat the dog. The dog began to bite the pig. The pig jumped over the sty, and the old lady finally got home that night.
David, it's your turn, David.
David's okay. You can if you want. It doesn't look like he wants. Okay.
Get the whole place.
Well, once upon a time, there was a little black boy, and his name was Sambo. And Sambo lived in the jungle with his mommy named Mumble and his daddy named Jumbo. Well, little black Sambo's mommy made him a nice new set of clothes with a new hat, a new coat, a new shirt, a new pair of pants, and a nice new pair of shoes that were purple with crimson soles and green sides. One day, little Sambo decided he was going to go for a walk in the jungle. So he put on all of his fine new clothes, and out he went through the jungle. First thing he knows, he met a tiger, and the tiger said, "Little black Sambo, I'm going to eat you up." Little black Sambo said, "Oh, please don't eat me up, and I'll give you my nice new hat." So he gave the hat to the tiger. And the tiger went off saying, "Look at me, I am the grandest tiger in all the jungle." Pretty soon she met another tiger. The tiger said, "Little black Sambo, I'm going to eat you up." Little black Sambo said, "Oh, please don't eat me up, and I'll give you my nice new coat." So he gave his new coat to the tiger, and the tiger put it on and went off through the jungle saying, "Now I am the grandest tiger in all the jungle." Pretty soon little black Sambo met another tiger, and this tiger said, "What? Little black Sambo, I'm gonna eat you up." Little black Sambo said, "Oh, please don't eat me up, and I'll give you my nice new shirt." So he gave his shirt to the tiger, and the tiger went off to the jungle saying, "Look at me, I am the grandest tiger in all the jungle." Pretty soon he met another tiger. The tiger said, "Little black Sambo, I'm gonna eat you up." Little black Sambo said, "Oh, please don't eat me, and you can have my nice new shoes." The tiger says, "But I have 4 feet, and you only have 2. So he gave him his shoes, and the tiger put them on his ears, and off he went to the jungle saying, "Now I am the grandest tiger in all the jungle." Well, little black Sambo was really disappointed now all of his clothes were gone. And pretty soon he heard the tigers coming back. And they were arguing and fighting about who was the grandest tiger in all the jungle. So little black Sambo climbed up a tree to hide. And here come the tigers. They took all their nice clothes off and laid them down on the ground, and they started chasing each other. Around and around they went, right around the tree where little black Sambo was hiding. And one was biting this one's tail, and this one was biting this one's tail, and this one was biting his tail. And they made a circle right around the tree. And they were running faster and faster and faster. Pretty soon it got hot, and what happened to the tigers? They melted down into a big ring of tiger butter right around the tree where little black Sambo was hiding. So he climbed out of the tree and put on all his nice new clothes again. Here come his daddy with a big bucket on his head. He picked up all the tiger butter and took it home. And Mumbo made tiger hotcakes. And Sambo had a great big pile of tiger hotcakes for breakfast. And that's the story of little black Sambo.
Yay, Grandpa!
House that had an upstairs in it that was, it was an old adobe house, and the upstairs was kind of old. It had a leaky, and it had, we had a beehive up there. But one night we were asleep and we heard this bat flying around. You hear flying around in the room. And the girls were screaming and hollering and hiding under the covers of the bed, and so I got a broom. And I could hear this bat coming, but the only thing I could hear the tick, tick, tick. So as the bat come by, I'd swing at him. And after about half an hour, I guess, I finally hit the bat with the broom, killed it. And that bat was flying around inside our rooms upstairs. And the kids were screaming and hollering. And there I was with the broom chasing the bat around in the dark. In the dark. The only way I could know where to hit was when I could hear him going. You know, his radar was going. I guess you could hear it. The echo. Anyway, we got rid of the bat. But in that same house, there was a hole underneath underneath the door upstairs. There used to be a set of stairs that go from the upstairs down to the front lawn. They took the stairs out, but when they did it, they left a hole underneath the door. And underneath that hole, a hive of bees moved in, and they had a hive of honey between the two floors. And my dad, he used to lift the floorboards off, and we'd get the honey out of this hive that was there. So all the time we lived in that old house, the bees made their honey, and we lift the honey out of that hive by taking a floorboard off of the floor upstairs. That old house there wasn't any furnace in the house. You got the picture of the house?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what it looks like.
yeah. See that door upstairs? That door, there used to be steps coming down.
Wow.
That come down to the grass. You could go into that door upstairs. But underneath that door, there was a little hole where the bees would get in, and they build their honeycomb and their hive right underneath there between the ceiling of the basement floor and the upstairs. So every spring we'd get in there and get the honey out. See that window on the end of the house?
Yeah.
That was the room that was my bedroom. And you can't see the other bedroom, but over the porch, it's sitting out there, there's another bedroom, that's where the girls were. In that upstairs room, there was mice in that house, as you can probably guess. We had a big table. Once a year, they'd bring flour in, and we'd had, well, maybe 10 or 15 sacks of flour on this table. We always put stovepipes around the legs so that the mice couldn't climb up to the legs and get to the flour. Stovepipes were slick, and they put tin, and the mice couldn't climb up there. But we always had our flour up there on that big table, stacked with stovepipes around the legs.
Hey, what about the penny on the railroad track?
Yeah. Well, this old house was located 1 block from the railroad track. The railroad tracks went by, and especially in the fall when they were hauling beets, they'd stop at one end of town, load the beets up, and go the other end of town and get another load of beets. So when they were going through town, they were going pretty slow. You'd hear the train in the middle of the night. That's when the wheels would start to spin. Shoot, 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 shoot. They'd go through town like that every night and wake me up. We used to go down in the daytime when we were kids, and there was a big culvert about this high.
About what? A what?
A culvert
Kind of
was a
like
ditch, but it was a pipe that went underneath the railroad tracks. So when the train would come, we'd crawl in that pipe and get underneath the railroad tracks. When the train would go by, you just feel the pipe bouncing up and down as that train would rattle over you. We always thought that was kind of a charge. But we'd take nails and pennies and whatever we could find and set them on the railroad tracks. When the train would run over, it'd just flatten them out, making all sorts of kind of things. We lived close to railroad tracks, and so there was a lot of times we'd go down there with a gunny sack and pick up coal. Coal trains would come by, and the lumps of coal would fall off on the track, and we picked the coal up, put it in the gunny sack, and take it back home. Because that's what we had to heat the house with, was coal. We didn't have a furnace, we just had a stove that you had to put coal in.
What about the watermelons?
Well, that was later on. We'll tell him when we get down to it later. So a big barn. And in that barn, instead of having a cable running through the top of the barn to take hay in, there was a big rope. The rope was about 2 inches or 1.5 inches in diameter. And that rope was really a nice swing. The dolly that ran along the top of the track for bringing the hay up in and dropping it, us kids used that as a swing. And there were openings on both sides of the barn. And we'd get on that rope and we could swing clear through both sides of that barn, back and forth, and we'd get the thing that comes down from the fork and we'd put a knot on it and a piece of wood, and when it was up on the loft, you held on the rope and jumped down to the loft. You'd pull somebody else up to the top of that barn. And many times we'd haul kids clear up to the top of the barn, and if somebody dropped the rope, they'd have fallen down, but we did it hours and hours on the day. Nobody ever seemed to get hurt, but when I look back on it, it was pretty dangerous. We used that rope for everything under the sun. It was quite quite a toy for us. But in that old barn, the barn was made out of slat wood. The wood is about 6 inches wide, and it'd be about an inch or a 2-inch crack between the next board. So when you looked at the outside of the barn, it was a bunch of boards with spaces between them. When they used to bring straw in, they'd bring the thrashing machine in, and they'd blow the straw right into the corner of the barn. And after every time they'd blow the straw in, I'd dig a hole through the straw back in that corner where the corners come together. You could dig a room back in there, and you always had the holes coming from the outside, so you had a lot of fresh air. But I'd always dig that hole back in there, and when the kids knew about it, when we'd play hide and seek, I'd just open up the tunnel I dug and crawl back in the hay and fill the tunnel in behind me, and they never could find me. They never did figure out where I was hiding. Get in that thing, lay in there in the afternoon. It was always nice and cool because it was underneath the straw. It was just a kind of a place to play. And I could see everybody run around outside the barn because I could see through the slats and see them. We had a lot of fun with that barn.
Did you have a pig in that barn?
We had a kind of a pretty good sized pasture outside the barn, but one day Dad decided it was time to bring the bull in so we could get a calf. And the cow and the bull was in the back, in the barnyard back there, and he said to me, "Go on out and check everything, make sure it's all right." Around the barnyard there was a fence probably about 5 feet high, and we'd climb over the fence all the time to get into the barnyard. But this particular night I crawled over the fence and I was walking around the barn. As I come around the corner of the barn, I met the bull nose to nose, and it scared me so bad. He started walking. I guess he wasn't really chasing me, but I thought he was. I cleared that fence in one stride, never touched it. Running and leaped right over the top of that fence, scared me to death. It's surprising what you can do when your adrenaline's up. What else? Sweet plum tree, green gauge plums. I just loved them. I couldn't leave them alone, but they were always telling me, leave those plums alone so we could can them. This one particular day, I was up in that plum tree eating plums, and my older sister Ruth came out of the house. She was going to the garbage, but she had some cans that we'd opened up, and the old can opener, you'd open the lid up, and it was pretty sharp on the edges. And this one day, she walked out of the back door and saw me up in the plum tree. She took this lid and she just threw it like that, and come sailing across the yard and hit me, thump, right on the top of my head, and sliced my head open. But I got out of the plum tree that day in a hurry.
But I've always thought it was a garbage can lid that she threw at you.
No, it was
like one about this big.
No, it was probably maybe a gallon can or a number 6 can or something. It was the lid was about like that, I guess.
That
She
was
just
the beginning of the frisbee.
Yeah, the frisbee ate.
she didn't know. I mean, she just threw it at me, and it just sailed right through the tree and whack.
How about when you got your leg caught in the barbed wire fence?
Well, that wasn't a barbed wire fence that got my leg caught in. We used to climb a lot of trees because there wasn't much to do in those days. As far as entertainment, there was no TV, and we didn't have a radio. And the car was propped up on blocks, so we never went anywhere. It was during the war. And so we had to make our own entertainment, but there was one particular tree that we climbed a lot. But this one day I climbed the tree by myself, and it was about a block from the house where I lived. But up in the tree, quite high up, there was a place where the limbs come down like this. And I had reached up to pull myself and put my knee in this slot to pull myself up, and my knee slid down and got pinched in that limb, and I couldn't get it out. There I was up on top of this tree, and nobody knew where I was at, but I was stuck in that tree. I couldn't get out. I had an old pair of overalls on, the bib type overalls with the straps on your shoulders. And I could hear him calling me to come home. But I hollered and hollered. Finally, my sister Ruth came again and climbed up this tree, found me up there, and got up above me with the suspenders. Finally jerked me out of that crotch of that tree. I thought I was going to spend the night in the tree. But I couldn't get out of there.
She was mad at you too, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was not too happy with me.
Another one what Lisa's talking about is when you cut a hole in your thigh on a
Oh,
barbed wire
barbed wire fence. Well, that was another time when I did something I shouldn't have. I disobeyed my dad. But out in the field west of the house, there was a big pasture, and the pasture was divided in half. There was two halves, but in the middle there was a fence, but the fence had a gate that was open. It was all barbed wire. But I was on the horse, and the old horse's name was Sailor. And I'd ride him without a bridle or a saddle or anything. I'd just go out in the field and get on him. So it was sometimes if he got a little headstrong, you couldn't steer him. You had to go where he wanted to go. Anyway, I was riding him, and Dad had told me that day, don't go out in the field, stay away from that horse. He don't want you out there today. I went out anyway and got on the horse and was riding around. I'd ridden quite a while. I guess the horse finally got tired of me, and he decided to go from one field into the other field. But he went around this post in the middle of the field too close, and my leg dragged on a piece of barbed wire. And I felt it hit my leg, but I didn't feel much. And until I noticed my foot was getting wet. I looked down and it was all covered with blood. So I got off the horse and pulled my pants down. I had a slice. Barbed wire had gone through my pants. It hooked my pants, and I guess it would pull it up. But anyway, it sliced me from my knee clear to here. It was about a foot long. Just sliced the fat part of my leg open. It didn't get into any bones or any muscle or anything. It just laid that flesh wide open. It was bleeding like I'd been stuck. My leg was all covered with blood. But I didn't dare tell my dad, so I went home and washed it off and got alcohol. Wow, I never had any stitches, but that alcohol, I was sorry that I got on the horse after that.
Do you still have that scar?
Yeah, the scar's still there. It's you can't see as much of it, but it's still, what, 6 inches long?
I remember when we used to wear basketball pants, you know, you can see that scar on the leg.
Yeah. I still have another scar on my hand too. You ever noticed on my left hand there's a scar here that's a C shape. When I was about Katie's age, I guess, I was cutting an orange. I had the orange in my hand like this, like a fool, and I was cutting it. I cut the orange all right, but I also cut through that. You can still see the scar where it cut me.
You gotta do the one about the watermelons.
And the watermelon.
Yeah, that's later on.
You go ahead and tell those, and I'll
We tell
find
the
the
teenage
picture.
boys or pre-teens go to bed on the watermelons.
And the candy.
Which candy?
Oh yeah, that store
Oh,
that
that-
you showed me, you know,
that
that
guy's
shed there.
shed.
Oh, yeah?
A
This-
pay truck would never do anything wrong.
This store, really what it was is a guy's garage, but he had a confectionery. And confectionery was downstairs. I guess he used this garage as kind of a storage place for his candy and stuff. And us kids figured out one day that if you pried this board loose, you could reach into the candy stash and get yourself a few pieces of candy every once in a while. So
Shut up.
we managed to do that at times
Here's
too.
the tabernacle and the pigeons. That's that, Grandpa. That's an easy one to see.
See, this old tabernacle was sitting in the middle of Smithfield, and it had a steeple on it. And on each side of that steeple, north, south, east, and west, there was a hole that you could look out and you could see over the whole town. This is the highest building in town. But right down at the bottom of the ground level of this tabernacle was an old coal chute. They used to heat the building with coal, and they had this coal chute, and they just bring the coal truck up and drop this coal down the chute. Well, us kids figured out a way to get into the tabernacle by going down the coal chute. You go down the coal chute and you get through the furnace room and finally get into the tabernacle. But to get into the tabernacle, once you got into this part of it, it was wide open from the balcony clear to the top here. It was probably 100 feet. And all it was ladders and boards. You climb up the ladder a ways and then walk on the board, and then climb up another ladder, walk on the board, climb up another ladder, all the way to the top. When you got up at the top there was a little platform, and you could look out these windows, and you could see in any direction you wanted to. But it was open, so the pigeons had used that as a place where they lived. It was dark inside there because there was no lights. the pigeons would come flying in the hole, and they'd land on this hole, and we'd grab them. If you take a pigeon and lift his wing up and put his head under his wing, he goes to sleep. So we'd catch the pigeon, put his head under there, and then we'd throw him out the window. The window of the pigeon that start to fall, pretty soon you'd realize he's falling, and he'd go, and we'd catch him, toss him out the window.
I think you came to the end.
Somebody just popped over there. Was it Dad or you?
It was Amberly started here. Amber.
Amberly, did you pop?
That was so funny, Mike.
Uh-oh. We're in trouble if Amberly can keep up with Mike now.
I don't think it's a matter of keeping up.
You have to whistle Student Prince.
No,
Two.
I can't do that, that's not the right mood.
Oh, you have to. Maybe you have to do it.
Smithfield to West Point. And out in West Point, it was a sandy, really sandy area. It was a great place for raising watermelons and cantaloupe. So one of the things that we always did as kids was go swiping watermelons. No way to say it, except that's what we did, swipe watermelons.
Swipe means steal.
Yeah. Anyway, it went so far. Back in those days, they'd have no MIA in the summer. So in the fall, they'd always have, or the spring, it's spring, they'd always have the closing social. About that time, the watermelons were coming on, and so we decided this would be a good time to have watermelons. So we took the pickup truck and went out to the watermelon field and put in a pretty good number of watermelons in the pickup truck. The only street light in the whole town was right in front of the church. So the night of the party, we said, well, we'll supply the watermelons. So we figured bring the pickup truck over there and parked it right in front of the church under the street light. Like fools, we opened the tailgate. All the watermelons would come running out, smashed onto the highway. There was watermelons. The cars would come whipping through there, you know, and splash watermelons all over. We had flies and watermelons. We couldn't believe for a week or two till that stuff finally dried out. The watermelons, when we'd eat them, we'd crack them like a nut. You'd crack all sides of them. When they'd crack open, the seeds, the center would come out, it'd be just a solid core watermelon. You bust the seeds off the outside, and all you had was the center core to eat. That's all we ate of watermelon, just the center core. All the rest was thrown away.
Didn't you used to throw them down chimneys?
Well, Tony probably remembers the old wooden trestle that used to be there by where you guys lived.
Oh,
That was an old railroad train trestle.
yeah.
And the trains used to, there was a yard there, they'd be going pretty slow when they come under that railroad track. We used to take watermelons and get on top of that trestle, and when the engine had come by, we'd drop it down the smokestack. And the train would go underneath the bridge, and you'd hear it go, blow it back up underneath the bridge, and it'd just splatter all over.
That's good.
That was the funnest trick, to stand there and wait till it got right in the right place, and then drop it right down the smokestack.
What if you missed and hit like the top of the conductor place?
Well, on those old steam engines, if you missed the pipe, you hit the boiler and it just got on the outside. But,
So did you ever get caught stealing the watermelon?
oh yeah, we got caught and got peppered with salt more than once.
Like peppered with salt.
Yeah, they put salt in their shotguns and shoot at you.
That's what Charlie Bangeter used to do. If you'd walk across this field from primary, he'd shoot at you with a pellet gun full of rock salt.
Yeah, that was a common way to get little kids in the watermelon patch.
What worked for cats? Give cats some water. Gotta do Betty bought a bit of butter. And the pig right. Push them for the pig right.
In the area where we lived, it was really an old rundown house. We called it, the Shies was the name of the family, but the house was a mess and the yard was the same way. The pigs and the chickens and everything just run around. But the pigs always ate their way through the haystack. The pig, you know, is only about this big, and when he gets his head up, he can eat a hole about this big. So they just eat a hole. It was like a cave. They just eat a hole right into the haystack. This one particular year, they'd eaten a hole right through the haystack. And we thought it'd be fun to ride the pig. Well, we got on the pig and we're riding it, and the pig couldn't get us off until they found out if they went into the haystack, that they could brush us off. So we'd get on the pig, and the first thing they'd do is head for the haystack. They'd run in the hole, and of course, you'd get smashed up against the haystack, get brushed off. That's how the pigs got pretty smart. As soon as we got on, they'd head for the haystack. That was one of our entertainments, to ride the pig. Can you say it, Daniel?
Huh?
Can you say it? Butter's bitter was too butter. Butter was too bitter, so Betty bought a bit of better butter, put her bit of bitter butter, little bit of better butter, made her bit of bitter butter better.
That's hard to say.
All I got was bitter, better.
Better, better, better.
I bet Grandma could help y'all.
Is it Betty Botter?
Betty bought a bit of bitter butter. Betty bought a bit of bitter, what butter was too bitter. So Betty bought a bit of better butter, put her bit of bitter butter with a bit of better butter, made her bit of bitter butter better.
Oh my
You've had quite an audience.
I was involved with this,
Oh dear.
but we were in high school, seniors in high school,
This is another stealing story.
and it used to be the tradition in the little town where we grew up that going to people's chicken coops and kiping chickens was just kind of expected. But anyway, the night before Grandma and I had her first date, me and my best friend Ken Mosman decided that we were going to go get some chickens to roast the next day. Well, it happened to be my turn to drive the car, and so he used to go get the chickens. Well, this chicken coop that we decided on that night was right behind the back door of the house where the people lived. And the door of the chicken coop faced the back door of the house. So he went in the chicken coop and was just getting ready to put a couple of chickens in the bag. The back light came on the porch. We couldn't run out because he'd be running right into the light, so we hid underneath the chicken roost. The guy that owned the chickens came out and locked the door. He was inside. Well, I'd driven around the block 2 or 3 times, and I knew it was time for him to come back, and something had gone wrong. So I stopped the car and walked through the field and back to the chicken coop. He was inside. The door was locked. So we had to take the chicken wire off from the chicken coop. You know how that's winding wire, and we unwound that wire. It must have taken us an hour to finally unwind enough wire to get a hole big enough to get him out of there. That's how we got out of the chicken coop. Unwind the chicken wire on the coop. We got the chickens, and we had roast chicken for
your first
for
day.
our first day. One of my friend's dad always raised pullets, little chickens from chicks, killed them for chickens to put in his freezer. This one year, he had a whole bunch of little chicks. They were all yellow, of course, most of them were. But that particular year, they started putting out chickens that were colored. You could buy pink ones or green ones or blue ones. They color the egg some way, and when the chicks hatched, instead of being yellow, they were different colors. So we thought this would be a good trick. We'll take a couple of these colored chicks and we'll put them in this guy's roost with these yellow chickens. And when he comes out to see him, he'll be surprised to have these 2 colored ones in there. So we bought the colored chickens. I think it was a blue one and a pink one or something. Took it back and put it in his brooder where all of the chicks were, and we left. Didn't think too much more about it. Well, the next day, he came to his brooder, and all the chickens were piled up in the corner. They were scared to death of those colored chicks. They piled up on top of each other in the corner trying to get away from these. And I don't know how many of them got killed, but there was quite a number of them got smashed and trumped to death because they were trying to get away from these colored chickens. I didn't realize they could even see color, but we got a pretty Scotch blessing for that trick. Oh, one more I gotta tell you. Kenneth Mosman's dad was one of these kind of guys that when he mowed his lawn, he'd go out and wipe the mower down. It looked, 5 years later, it looked like a brand new one. The paint was still there. His car, every time he'd drive the car, he'd open the hood up, clean the engine off. His basement, he had a stoker down the basement. Every week, dust that thing off, it shined like a silver dollar. The whole basement was spit polished. We used to make a mixture of saltpeter and sulfur, and it was pretty explosive. And we'd use it to make explosions, but this one day we made a batch of it and had some left, and we decided, well, we'll just store it until the next time we want some. So we put in a little bottle. Down in the basement, they had this old coal stove that they used to bottle fruit with. So we just lifted the lid off this and stuck this bottle of mixture back in the back of the stove and left it. Didn't think anything more about it, and his mother came down a few months later, ready to can peaches, and she built a fire in the stove. After the fire got going real good and got hot suddenly, boom! There was an explosion, and all the lids off of the stove just came up, and the chimney, the smokestack came apart. Soot, I mean, there was soot on every square inch of that basement. It just scattered soot all over everywhere. His dad just literally come unglued. That's the last time we made that mixture, put it in the stove. I'll tell you that. When we grew up, we didn't have a lot of entertainment, but I had twin sisters, most of you know. And we used to high jump a lot. And to make a high jump, we'd just take an old cedar post and drive nails in it, and use a bean pole as the thing we jump over, and take a shovel and dig up the ground. That was our high jump pit. Well, the time we got to 7th grade, I was a pretty good high jumper, but my sister could out-jump me. When we got to junior high, there was some kids coming from a little town called Newton, and those kids were a lot more progressive than we were. They were already pole vaulting, but their pole vault, they couldn't pole vault over 7 feet. So the only way they could pole vault was to take the high jump standards and move them over to the pole vault pit. When they did that, we couldn't high jump because the pole vault standard didn't start until 7 feet. So it was always a battle. We're going to high jump, we're going to pole vault. Well, they used to have what we call beet vacation. They'd close school down for 2 weeks while they harvested the sugar beets. That year, I decided, while we're out of school, I'm going to learn how to pole vault. So I got a bamboo pole about this big. It was about 8 or 10 feet long, and I wrapped tape all around it. I used that as a pole vaulting pole. I spent 2 weeks learning how to pole vault. When school started the next time, I went to school real early. I took the high jump standards and put them over by the high jump pit. Took the pole vault standards and put them by the pole vault pit. When the kids came on the school bus, I had the pole up on the 7-foot mark, and I could get over it. I was the only kid in the school that could get over the pole. So from there on out, we had a standard for the high jump and a standard for the pole vault. And I did all the high jumping and all the pole vaulting for the rest of the time until I was out of high school. But I was pretty proud. When I was in the 9th grade, I was 5'10", and the track meet up at Lewiston, I jumped to 6 foot and a half inches in the track meet. It's the highest I ever got, 9th grade. I woke up one morning upstairs in this house, and I tried to get out of bed, and I was paralyzed from the waist down. I couldn't even move, so I finally fell out of bed and slid down the stairs down to the kitchen. I told them that there was something wrong with me. They took me to the doctor, and I had rheumatic fever. They put me in bed for 9 months, and never stood on my feet for 9 months. When I was in the 4th grade, I was about the biggest kid in the class. When I got out of the 5th grade and started the 6th grade, I was the biggest kid in the class. I grew more than a foot during that year while I was laying down. I had to learn how to walk again. My shoes wouldn't fit. My clothes were, that was a mess. That was some year though. I'll never forget the feeling of getting out of that house the first time after 9 months of laying in this room looking at the walls and seeing. Ooh, that was nice. That's where the arthritis started. It's causing me all the problem now. That's enough stories.
Hi, Kayla. Hi, Kayla. Hi. There's Katie. Jacob, how old are you today? 2? Whoa, Kayla. He's 2.
He's 2 now.
It's Jacob's birthday. Where are we, Jake? We're seeing the fish at the aquarium in Denver, huh?
Fishy up there, he
It's up
said.
there.
Fish.
Look at the fish, Jake. Say hi to the turtle. Nice, I like pink.
What?
I like pink.
We're gonna go swimming. Tricky, woo! Look
It
at that
flips
twisty.
and rolls.
I want to see it.
Let me at him. Jake said, let me at him.
It's like wooded. Oh, look, he's
Everybody's helping me.
Look at those pretty ones, Kayla. Look at that pink and purple one. Yellow.
This.
Look at all them colors.
Yeah. Katie, did you see the purple and yellow one?
That guy's too big to fit in the camera.
Look at him. Yes, it is. Jacob, what do you think about that guy?
That's one big fish, huh, Jake?
Yes. I think that fish is the biggest fish I've ever seen. Okay. Come see what's over here. See.
Hi, Daddy.
Hi, Kayla.
Do you think they look like horses? I don't think they do.
No, they don't. Hi, Daddy. This is Kayla's hand. Mommy, you know,
Sharks.
You're safe. You're safe.
See the shark? Where's the shark, Jake? Yeah, the shark.
The stingray.
Where's the stingray now, Jake? There he is.
The eel.
Eel.
That stingray needs to move so we can see him. Beautiful. Oh, look at him. Ever seen a sea dragon?
No, that's cool. That looks like a dragon, all right.
I don't
They
know.
probably blow fire, don't you think?
Yeah.
You think they spit fire at you
No.
if they get mad?
That.
Leave it.
Today's Jake's birthday, July 25th, and he is how old?
2. 1 plus 1. 1 plus 1 is 2.
2. Go, big boy.
Look how tall he's getting.
Whoa, that's tall if you ask me.
He
Yeah.
weighs as much as Kayla now.
Yeah.
That solid muscle mass.
Show us your fat belly, Jake.
Your tummy.
That's a belly.
Tummy.
That's what you call a belly.
So these are presents. Hot Wheels.
Okay, but Jake, before you open your presents, tell us your new words. Can you say bus?
Bus.
Yes. Can you say Dido?
Battle.
What does Dido mean?
Plane.
Jacob, Say, Jacob. Jacob. What does it say?
Truck.
Say, huck.
Now what about red truck?
Look up.
Now smile. Show us your smile.
That's a funny smile. And close your eyes.
Smile. There you go.
Okay.
So which present should we pick?
What one?
Where are we celebrating this birthday, Jacob?
Yeah. In
Kayla, do you know where we are?
Where are we, Kayla?
Denver.
And we went to the aquarium. And you might have saw it on the video camera, but we saw big sharks. Yeah, the aquarium. Yeah, the aquarium.
Okay, girls, come over
Rip it
here
open.
so you can see Jakey open his
Rip it
presents.
open.
Can you rip it open? Let's get that thumb in there.
Yeah.
There's something in there.
What is it? I want to see. I'll see.
Can you rip it open?
Tell it.
Can you open it?
What is it,
What
Jake?
is it?
What is it?
What is it? Oh, look.
What is it?
What is it, Jakey?
Spider-Man.
Look at that. Spider-Man.
Do do do
This is
do.
Spider-Man.
Do you want to wear those for your pajamas?
Spider-Man.
You want to wear those for pajamas tonight?
His eyes. He's like a spider. He can climb buildings like a spider. Spin a web. Cool, huh? Pick this one.
Do you want another present, Jakey?
Pick this one.
What is it?
Oh, look. Hot Wheels. Red, purple, blue.
Purple in there? Oh, yeah, there is.
Get it, get it, get it. Whoa.
I think I see what it is.
Get it, get it, get it, get it, get it, get it. Get it. Ugh. Now tear it open.
What is it?
Tear it open.
Uh,
Oh. What is that?
yeah, game
What is that thing
from
called?
Rome.
Is that a truck?
Jacob, it's a leap pad book.
It's a red truck.
Maybe sometimes if he asked Kayla to, he could use it and watch and watch.
See,
And
it's
the
for a
idiot.
leap pad. It's like a story. Isn't that so cool?
Like Kayla's.
Let's put that over there.
And then you get to play with
Pick
Kayla.
another present.
And mine.
Pick one.
This one. So go like this.
Okay. How do you open it?
You open it.
Thumb in there.
Open.
There you go. See, you just have to figure out. Every wrapped gift has a weak spot. You just have to find the weak spot. There it open. Just like that.
Some more.
What is it? A hot dog? No.
It's got
Mickey Mouse.
Clothes? Are those
Oh.
clothes or are those pajamas?
Those are clothes.
Oh.
Those ones are clothes.
They're short, so you won't be hot. And Mickey Mouse, we can wear this on our trip when we go to see Mickey Mouse.
And I have a mini shirt.
That will be
And
so
Kayla
cool.
does too. Yeah, I have
Put these over here.
Minnie Mouse clothes.
Yeah.
So we can all have Minnie and Mickey Mouse now.
There's a trick to opening gifts. You can guess what's in them. Listen. Do you hear anything?
No.
Quiet. Wonder what it could be. Okay, feel the shape. Oh, you got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good, Jake. Here, let Jake rip it.
Oh.
I think he's figuring it out.
Look at him. He's excited.
Oh, look. Oh, man. What is it, Jake?
What is that, Jakey?
Open it.
What is it? Get that
Open
paper
it.
out. Can you get the paper? Wow.
Oh, Jake, look.
What is that?
What is that?
How do you say truck?
Huck. Huck.
How do you say
Say huck.
Can you say Chuck?
truck? That is cool. We've got to test it out, huh?
She wants to open it
So
right
how do
now.
you get it out of the box?
You gotta get that out of the box first.
Or you can just do that way, huh? It's got the handle.
Show me your truck, Jake.
Show Mama the hook.
Is it a cool truck?
Show Mama the hook.
Oh, look at that truck.
Jacob, how do you say vroom vroom?
Now you can have it.
You gotta
This is
say
all.
vroom vroom.
Maybe Daddy can get it out for you.
Okay, there's
Yeah.
one more present.
Bye.
Here, let's figure out how to open the box. See, we'll take. Oh, Jake. Okay, let's get these wires out of there.
He's gonna let it new.
Look, it has a handle. You can hold it. How does it work?
Show us, Jake. How's it work? This is hard.
What does it sound like?
What does the truck say, Jake? Yes.
Okay, let's all sing happy birthday to Jake. Ready, Katie? Kayla?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jacob. Happy birthday to you. Yay! Yippee! Toss it in the oven. I gotta get down there where I can see you playing with that. That's a fun truck, huh?
Vroom, vroom.
Vroom vroom.
And trucks.
Put it on the ground. Put it down.
Drive it.
Drive
Say
it on the car floor.
Say beep beep.
Beep beep.
Ow.
We're in a hotel room and this is very scrunchy to try to get him playing with this truck.
Ow.
Ow, that hurts. Yep.
Ow. Ow. What is Jakey doing?
He's playing with his truck.
He's funny. Ow. 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 Ow.
He's pleased as pie about this wrapping paper.
Open it.
He's just making sure I don't have to save any of it for next year.
Make garbage out of it.
Oh, yeah.
Jacob, open that. Open
What's in there? You have to stick your thumb in there.
Oh,
Oh, there's more paper back there, huh?
Yeah. What is it, Jake?
He's trying to get that embodied part of the paper.
Cows.
No, bugs. Say bugs.
What's your toy, Jacob? Is it your second birthday? What is it, Jake?
Really, like August 11th. August. Wait a minute, Jake. What else? A choo-choo. A choo-choo.
Shaken Railway play set. Railroad. Wow, it's a train, Jake. You're gonna have to check it out, huh? What sound does a train make, Jacob?
What does the train say?